So I'm going to call the meeting to order. Welcome again to the Historic Districts Commission meeting on December 3rd, 2020. I'm calling the public meeting to order at 7 o'clock. We'll review, I think we have 5 public hearings tonight and no continuances, correct? Or do we have any? No, no continuances. We have some additional business at the end of the meeting. In accordance with Commonwealth of Mass executive orders, suspending certain provisions of open meeting law, we're conducting the meeting online. To ensure public access, the public may access this call through telephone and video conferencing. Telephone, you can raise your hand by dialing *9. If you are on the meeting and have a question, once the presentation has been made and the commission has discussed the presentation, I will open the floor. Please raise your hand by either using the raise your hand function in the Zoom screen, or literally wave at us and we'll see you. So we don't want to accidentally forget you if you're raising your hand. I don't think we're going to have bandwidth issues tonight, but Heather, the host, will just keep everyone muted, and I maybe video off except for the current petitioner. And then once we've acted on an application, the petitioner is free to leave. Once there are no more public comments, I will ask for a motion from the commission. It'll either be to continue, approve with conditions, or not approve. We'll have a second and a roll call vote. So I'm just going to do a quick roll call right now of attendees. And from the commission tonight, I'm just going to go around and choose you, if you don't mind, in order on my screen. Paul Ware.
Yes, present.
Abigail Flanagan.
Present.
Catherine Mast.
Present.
Nia Glenn.
Present.
Luis Beresbietia.
Present.
And Dennis Fiore. You're muted though, but you're here. But you have to say yes, Dennis. Oh, but you're muted. That's all right. We'll believe you that Dennis is here. Voting members tonight will include, beside me, Luis, Nia, Paul, and wait, did I miss somebody? Melinda.
You missed Melinda.
Melinda is connecting to audio. Okay, Melinda, when you get here, we'll bring you in on the roll call. But Melinda will be the 5th voting member. All right. So why don't we head off to the races? It's 7:06, and our first new public hearing is 26 Elm Street. This is in the Main Street District, and the Shattuck Architects is the applicant. And this is a request to demolish an existing garage, construct a new garage, including lighting, paving, new air conditioning, condensers, and changes to hardscaping. I'm just going to quickly note that the first 3 applications this evening are all going to require a site visit. So I think what we'd like to do is have the applicant just give us a general presentation of the scheme, see if there are any big outstanding questions, and then we will set site visits for 2 weeks from today, correct, Heather? I know you're not going to be here, but I think that's the 17th of December, assuming no big snowstorm. And we'll start them at 8 a.m.
Chair, as a point of order, as an
Yes.
abutter, I'm going to recuse myself. So I will shut off my video and mute myself for the duration of the conversation.
Okay, thank you, Abby. All right, so this is 26 Elm Street. And Melinda, you are present, yes? I'm just going to roll call you in. Melinda raised her hand and said aye. All right, so 26 Elm Street. Again, sorry, the certificate of appropriateness. So Heather, I don't know who the applicant is, the Shattuck Architects. Who's here from?
Yeah, this is Chris Austin here. I'm the,
hi, Chris.
Homeowner and applicant.
Heather, would you mind putting the presentation up? And then Chris, if you could walk us through.
Yeah,
You can see our screen, yes?
I can see you just fine. Thank
Okay.
you. And first of all, thank you very much for your time this evening. As some of you may know, I've been in front of this board a number of times over the last 10 years doing some projects on the main house, involved in renovating and restoring that structure. And we're finally getting to the garage, which you'll note is in very poor condition with a a roof that's collapsing, among other problems. But what I think I'd like to do is just hand it over to the architect, who will be much more efficient with your time, Lisa Damiak.
All right, thank you.
Hi, this is
Hey,
Lisa
Lisa.
Damiak from Nishotic
Nice
Architects.
to see you.
Nice to see you too. I can see you. We've worked on this house quite a bit, and the client is very interested in keeping the house in a nice way and being a steward of the historic districts. Sorry, I was having a problem with my microphone. Anyway, so the current garage is falling down, and I don't know if Heather, you want to scroll through some of the garage slab
There-
is
yeah.
kind of all cracked. You can see this lovely roof line that's, just a nice wavy thing, which would be nice to keep in other situations, but not this one. There's no foundation on the current garage. And so the slab is kind of cracking and moving with frost heaves and different things like that. The 3 air conditioners currently sit at the back of the house there. We're essentially proposing that they stay in the exact location, the same location that they had been previously. But we are hoping to make the garage slightly wider, and I'm kind of working with, this is also in the wetlands conservation and conscom, and also we're going to need to go for a special permit. So this is kind of the trifecta. So the reasoning behind not moving the garage further away from the street would be that that we'd be pushing it further towards the river. So that's one of the issues. The second issue is that the homeowner would like to create maybe a home gym up above the garage. When we take a look at the drawings, you will see that we're really trying to keep the plate height low, and the garage is going to get slightly wider, it's only 23 inches wide currently, and we're hoping to make it 21 feet wide, not very much, but every inch makes a difference, with these garage doors and trying to get into the garage with all the cars these days. So essentially we're proposing to keep the garage in the same exact location with almost exactly the same footprint. It's still going to be about 5 feet away from the property line like it currently is. And the second floor, if we want to go to the plans. So the first floor will be a garage that hopefully, currently it's 37 feet, 37.1 feet deep, the garage. And we're just going to make it 37 feet, and hopefully we can maybe park a small car in the back, and just have some bike storage and workbench and some area for trash cans and recycle. And currently there are 2 doors on the first floor entering into the garage. So we're going to keep 2 doors for this project. They're getting slightly moved to further towards the corners a little bit. And the current paving already exists going back, but there's currently bluestone that's closer set together, going to the stairs, leading down to a basement apartment in the house. And past that is kind of more open bluestone pavers that just lead to that back door. The second floor of this will be kind of under the eaves, hip roof, some hip dormers to the side just to create some headroom. And the plate height is going to be, I think, around 2.5 feet for around the exterior of the garage, so that we can try and keep it low. Let's see. So we want to look at the elevations. So currently the garage, if we go to the very first photograph on the first page. So the current garage is very low, which, you know, is nice. However, it's to get a second floor, you obviously have to make it taller. So if we want to go back to that front elevation. So we're keeping the garage as low as we possibly can and still get a second floor. We're trying to make it in keeping with the house and pick up some of the elements, just so we can kind of tie it a little bit to the house. So we picked up the hip roof and the front shed dormer, and then have carriage style and two barn lights, one over each door, and then a light at each of the doors on the exterior on the side. There is one current floodlight that we won't be replacing. So we're just going to do all down lighting, dark sky options. So there's small hoods over the doors just to give them a little bit of cover. And the side, the front and rear dormers will have sheds. The side dormers, just trying to pull them further away from both the river and the street, make them blend a little bit more into the roof, will be shed dormers, so they feel like they're recessing a little bit. So we are proposing to keep the 3 existing air conditioner where they are. The 4th air conditioner that's shown there on the ground is actually going to be we will need a condenser, but it will be a heat pump mini split. So it will have to be raised off the ground and attached to, either raised off the ground at that location or attached to the back of the building. We haven't shown any screening around the air conditioners, as there is none right now, but I believe Chris has the idea to maybe put some bushes and greenery around it. So, you know, because they're right out there in his backyard, so he doesn't appreciate looking at them very much. And I think that's mostly it. I think proportion wise, the garage isn't out of keeping with the proportions of the house itself. If anything, I think it relates a little bit better to the proportions of the house now that it grew a little bit. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Why don't we leave the drawings up? If that's all right, just leave the drawings up in case people want to go through. Let's go around and just hear from commissioners. Let me just ask you and the homeowner, is 8 o'clock on the 17th okay for you all for a site visit?
Absolutely fine.
Okay,
Yes,
I think
that's fine.
what we're going to want, I don't think winter's always a bad time to try to do balloons. We're really interested in the ridge height.
Sure.
And I'm trying to think of how that might be. It could be done off of the existing garage somehow.
Try and put up a stick or
if I-
something.
Yeah, or something, some way to indicate the ridge height and then to mark out the increase in the footprint. Would
Okay.
be super helpful.
Okay.
All right, so I'm just going to go around. Paul, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, just two quick questions. I can't read the dimension, the roof height on the proposed new garage. What is that height? The peak?
I believe it's 23 feet 4 inches. I don't know if you can zoom in there, Heather, with that plus key. There you go. Let's see, 23, yes, 23 feet 4 inches.
Okay. And is this a multifamily home?
There is a garage, sorry, not a garage apartment, a basement apartment.
And that's a rental unit, is that
Yes.
correct?
It's not used as a rental unit. but there is an apartment there.
What is, clarify for me, what do you mean by that? It's used for for you as a family? Or it's not used at all, or?
No, we have a guest living. We have a guest living there right now.
Okay, so, but it's a separate apartment. Okay. Actually, Paul, it reminds me, it would be good if possible to see the existing structure kind of dotted onto the elevation, just so we can see.
You want to see if we can go to what's tomorrow?
What's that? Oh, somebody spoke there. All right, let me keep going. Catherine, you're next on my screen.
I am just interested in the site visit. I would like to just see the siting of the new garage that's as proposed, and you know, the relationship with the ridge line to the structure. And I did have a question. I mean, I'm assuming the very close adjacency of the garage to the house is designed that way by both code and intention. I mean, in other words, is there no opportunity to have it a little farther out from the existing house?
We're putting it on the current footprint, but the answer is no, it cannot really get any closer. We're already, the roof.
Oh, I meant farther away. I meant
yeah,
farther.
already at the 5 foot from the property line. So, you know, if we had the room, the intention would have been to move it closer, you know, further away from the house, because it is a little bit kind of tight there currently.
Okay.
I'll say, Catherine.
That's all. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Nia. Oh, you're muted.
Sorry about that.
There you are.
I didn't see a site plan. Was there a site plan?
There is, it was not completed at the time of the submission. We actually just got the final one because we had to apply for the notice of intent for NRC yesterday. So I will have it for the next meeting.
All right, great. I agree the site visit is critical. I really want to see how this looks from the river as well as from the street and the massing. And it's on a drawing, it looks fine, but I reserve the right to change that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nia. Dennis.
Yes, you cannot see me for some reason.
I can see you.
Can you? Okay.
Yeah.
I think it looks great. It's better than the little knob that's there now of a garage, which looks like one of those prefab ones from the 1950s. I don't know when the thing was built, but given the height of the elevation in the front, it really does need a higher building in the back. So I think that it fits in well. I agree with Nia. I like it so far. I'll look forward to the site visit, but I think it's a nice approach.
Thank you, Dennis. Luis.
I really have no comments. We need to see a site plan and we need to have a site visit. Overall, looks like a very good proposal.
Thank you, Luis. And Melinda, not last but not least.
My first take is this looks fine, and I look forward to taking look-see in 2 weeks, and we can talk about it then.
Paul, you had another comment?
Yeah, could you comment just on the driveway? I know the application is to replace the driveway. I'm assuming, but I don't know, that the current driveway is pavement.
So the current driveway is asphalt, and I believe it has a chip seal top layer. Is that correct, Chris?
That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah.
And that's what we were thinking about moving forward with some sort of appropriate chip seal.
The only other adjustment to the driveway, we also noted, I believe, on the drawings on the edge, the left edge of the driveway there, we were going to put a cobble just edging to retain the edge of the driveway itself and give the vegetative border an edge there.
Gotcha. Okay, I think that gets us to our completion point this evening. So again, 8 a.m. on the 17th of December, we will assemble like the Avengers in front of your house, all wearing masks, but we can all meet together as long as we all, keep a little bit of distance, assuming there aren't any new restrictions in place at that time. And it's just a site visit, no discussion. If there are questions, Heather, I assume someone will come with us from the town, maybe Heather Carey.
That's a good question.
Good question. If not, we'll behave ourselves.
I will.
Okay, we'll find out. All right, well, thank you both. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Great.
Terrific. Thanks very much.
Thank you for
All
your
right.
time. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Thank you.
You need a motion.
Oh, right. Sorry. I need a motion. Oh, actually, no, wait. I need to see if there's any public comment. Is there any public comment on this application before we go to the motion? I don't see any, so a motion would be great. Oh, wait, Pam. Nope, that was my hand. Never mind.
I move that we continue the application for 26 Elm Street to the next meeting on 12/17. And
Second.
a site visit at 8 a.m. that morning.
All right, Louise seconded. I'm just going to go around and take a vote. All in favor, Paul?
Aye.
Aye, Melinda?
Aye.
Luis?
Aye.
Nia?
Aye.
And then Catherine?
Aye.
Dennis?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. Abigail is recused. So we're in a accord, and we'll see you in a couple weeks. All right, thank you, folks. So on moving right along, 66 Monument Street, Pam Gannon and Dave Douglas are here. This is in the North Bridge Monument Square District. This is an application to demolish an existing addition, construct a new one, remove the chimney, rebuild a bay window, replace windows, and restore the front door. Welcome, Pam.
Thank
And-
you. So it's just me tonight. My husband's not here right now.
Aha, all right.
So
Well,
Pam
then
Gannon, 66 Monument
us-
Street. So we're
make us-
looking to
yeah.
do a renovation on our house, which I believe most of you have been to before. And Betsy Russa is going to present.
Hi, Betsy. Well, let me just, before we get started, would 8:30 be okay on the 17th for a site visit?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So Betsy, thank you. And Heather, would you mind?
Heather, can I share my screen like we discussed?
Okay,
Yeah, so Betsy and I spoke previously and she's going to share a screen.
great. All right, take it away, Betsy.
Okay, give me a minute here. And close this and open this. Okay. Betsy Rosa from DSK Architects here, working with Pam Gannon, as you heard. And this is 66 Monument Street. This is I think the only known old photo that we have. You don't actually see in this photo where we want to do the majority of the work, but it's a good place for me to start and kind of show you what's going on. So this is the original house. Some changes that have happened over the years. There is a little bay window here. And that's what we've been calling the dining room bay that we are proposing to take off and rebuild exactly as it is. It's on a bad foundation and sort of sinking. But this roof, there's a little roof extension over here. It's kind of a cantilevered roof, and there's a new porch along the side of the house. And this is the Carriage house, the original Carriage house. We aren't doing anything there. And this is a one-story connector. And this is what I'm calling the side door. The Maids Edition that we were talking about is behind here. This photo is from about 1900s. And, most of it is, except for these little things. But this connector in this photo is not interior space, it's exterior. It's covered, there's a wall on the front, sort of walls on the back, but not interior conditioned space. So as you read, we've got the 5 little things that we're doing: the Maids Edition work, the rebuilding the dining room bay, removing the rear chimney, which is that little bit right there, and replacement windows on the main house, and restore the front door. So just to go through these photos. So this is how it looks now, and where you can see what we're calling the Maids Edition. We've been calling this the Maids Edition because we don't think it's original. We think it was added on later. It doesn't have the same quality of construction. It doesn't have the same detailing as the main house. We think this connector was there, but we think this was added on later. This is the back of the house. This is not visible from the public way, but I just wanted to show you. There's that Maids Edition. Here's the 1-story connector, carriage house, main house.
All right.
So this detail photo really kind of shows you how awkward the connection between the two are. And as I said, you know, the detailing, the dormers on the main house have all kinds of detail. This just has none of that. It's lacking in all that. So what we're proposing to do is sort of like cut right here and take this bit down to the foundation and rebuild back on the existing foundation, but rebuild it up to this height and this height so that the eave line and this cornice line matches. So one thing you'll see in the plans, we've looked at you know, a lot of schemes on this, and this volume is really problematic in the design. So this is this second floor on this is 4 feet lower than the second floor on this. It's not connected right now. It's a stair. I just want to show you real quickly. This was not in your package. I'm happy to submit these. This is that stair up to the that Maids Edition floor, and you can see there's a window blocked up to accommodate that. So we think this was part of the reason we think this was added on. The ceiling height in this is only 7 feet, and just really unworkable. We can't connect it to the existing house. This is the other things that we're doing, a detailed photo. So there's a side door, and we're going to replace that light fixture at the bottom with a new light fixture, which we submitted late, and I imagine Heather got on to you. This is the dining room bay. It's a little hard to tell, but this is really just sloping down, and we just want to rebuild it in kind. Again, it doesn't have quite the same level of detailing, but we would copy these details exactly in our rebuilding of it. Removing the rear chimney. There's the rear chimney. You can barely see it. That's in place. And changing out the windows in the house, just on the main house, not on the carriage house. So we would, to put in new windows, we would have a hard time sort of replicating all of this, and the interior casing, it would be hard to save. So we're proposing replacement windows for all of that. In new construction on the house, we would use new windows.
Are those windows original to the house? Do you know?
Believe so, right, Pam?
We believe so.
Okay, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry.
No, that's all right. So here's the site plan. This is, again, the main house. This is the new work at the Maids Edition. This is the 1-story connector, the carriage house, and the garage. Monument Street town is that way. Higher numbers that way. Windmill Hill Road is a private road. So it's just, this is the public way. We're going to have the views 1, 2, and 3 kind of going up the hill. You'll see those later. And here's the floor plan. This is the area that we propose to demolish to the foundation and build back up again. This wall would be on the foundation. This red line is the outline of the existing volume. We're going to go out about 2 feet in the back and just about 6 inches down there. That has to do with being able to get an actual usable door into this on the second floor with those mansard sloping roofs. It all looks a little bigger in plan than it is once you take into account the roofs. So we've looked at a lot of schemes on making all of this work for what Pam and Dave would like to accomplish. And we kept having to add square footage because this stepped down, and then upstairs it stepped down, and it was unusable upstairs. You could only get to it by a different way. We tried connecting the 4-foot difference, and nothing was working. We were ending up with additions back here in the backyard. Once we came up with the scheme of taking this down and making the floor levels the same, and we could use this on the second floor, we realized we didn't have to add anything on. So that's one of our reasons we like this scheme so much, is it's less square footage. Pam and Dave were not looking for more square footage. They were just looking to get the usable space that they needed. So again, the same thing. This is the plan on the second floor. And again, the bedroom looks pretty big because this wall is cut at 2 feet and this is the part that slopes up. So it's kind of coming in. So it's not quite as generous as it looks, but a fine sized bedroom. Here's elevations. This is the existing elevation and it's just cut through the main house so that the porch and that overhang are not getting in the way. But that's where it is. This is the new, with the new addition. So here is the outline of the existing, and we're just raising it up so that all of the roof lines align. These 2 windows would go away. Again, we're slicing right down here. While I said that this would be built on the foundation, it will be, we're gonna take advantage of like using some zip R insulation outbound of the studs, just so we can create this corner board, just to be a little bit proud of the rest of it, to make a distinction, which we think it should have. This looks a little funny in elevation to see these not aligned, but they actually looked odder aligned. And this is just what it looks like in a view. So here is the existing dormer, and we're come up with a scheme to connect to these, which you'll see in the rendered versions. Looks good. It doesn't read exactly like that, but just for your information, here's the back. There's that little Maids Edition volume, and here is the raised part. So here's our views. This is the view number 1, where you don't actually see the Maids Edition photograph, and then our rendered view. This is more of a straight on view. And so here's the shorter Maids Edition, and then this is what it would be once we raise it up to align with everything else. And then this is where you see it the most clearly. And there is the new bit looking just like the old bit. Just real quickly, you probably saw these in your packet, but these are a couple of other houses that are in Concord that are similar. Second Empire homes that have the roof eave and the cornice all matching on this. They both have this little extra block in addition to the square. And then this one on Walden Street actually raises up to a tower. So I have all the checklist and the manufacturer stuff, but I think maybe you don't want to do that tonight. Or do you?
Yeah, no, pardon me. Thank you. I don't think we have to. I think you're right. We could, I think people can look at it, but we are going to do a site visit. But let me go around and see if there are any particular questions. But thank you, Betsy.
Yep.
Paul, any thoughts?
Yes. If it were the case, and I'm not saying it is, that there were one or more members of the commission who's obsessed with chimneys, could you focus for a moment on the chimney that's going to be removed? I can't really tell where or if we can even see it from the public ways.
Well, that's part of the idea, is that you don't really see it. So let me just go back here for a minute. That is it, and it's a rather plain chimney. Just a minute.
It's not the one with the crenellations.
It's not the decorative. Yeah, it's not the decorative.
The front chimney's beautiful.
Yeah. So this is the rear chimney that we're taking down. And this is the front chimney that is purposely decorated to be seen. So
the chimney that's to be removed is arguably visible from Monument, but not really?
Yes.
Only visible from the private road?
Yeah, so here, here's a view and you don't see it. I mean, you'll see when you walk around, there's places you can see it and places you can't, but it's not something, I don't feel it's something that really gets your attention. Let me just go back to that other one. So the one that we chose here, we chose to show you that it shows, but it's not as prominent as
Okay.
one.
Just one follow-up. What is the age of the chimney? Is that what era, I should say, not its literal age, but
Yeah,
What?
I think that both the chimneys are original,
okay.
so 1868.
Well, Paul, you stole Abby's thunder, but I'm gonna, why don't we skip to Abby? Abby, do you have anything to add to that, or did Paul steal your thunder?
I mean, he's talking about me. So I don't, yeah, I mean, I think a site visit is obviously necessary given the scope of the work. I don't think the replacements in kind will be any, there'll be any significant issue with that. I don't have an issue really with the raising of the Maids Edition. We talk about this a lot, that these houses evolve over time, and particularly with additions, we see changes through different periods. And so I think that's appropriate. I would have strong objections to the chimney. It is original to the structure. The examples that you showed for Bow Street and Walden Street, our house is a Second Empire structure on Main Street. The secondary chimney, a planar secondary chimney, is also a hallmark of the style. And that's why you see it intact on these homes. So I would have significant concerns with that. We can obviously discuss that further, but that'll be something at the site visit. I'll want to look at the sight lines for that. But other than that, I don't have significant objections or questions or concerns.
All right, thank you. Catherine.
I think overall the changes as proposed are actually going to result in a much more balanced and harmonious overall structure. And I think the massing of the new connective unit with the roof raised up to the level of the right-hand structure is going to actually be a great change in the right direction. And I am eager to see it in person. I did try to channel Abby in terms of kind of focusing on the chimneys. And so I will be focusing on that as well when we go to see it in person. But I think, again, the changes as proposed, I think will actually be very good overall.
Thank you.
Thank you. Luis. Oh, you're muted though. Are you wearing a tie tonight?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Are you wearing a tie?
No, don't get into that, okay?
Oh, see, I feel like a schlub. All right,
I've
go
been
ahead.
trying to conceal my.
Go ahead.
I want to congratulate the applicant and the architect for a very comprehensive and very good presentation. I think we need a site visit. I don't have any objections to the overall proposal. I think the issue of the chimney, it's gonna come to the forefront. And from that perspective, I want to add that we have made some changes, and so I very much respect Abby's knowledge about reference chimneys. But this is the type of thing that we can accommodate within the framework of things that change as life goes by. You see, like the addition of garages and things like that. So I look forward to a site visit and to further consideration of this application. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Luis. Belinda.
I think these are very thoughtful renovation plans and well thought out. The chimney right now, it's so barely visible that I look forward to seeing it, but right now that doesn't bother me. And I look forward to going there in 2 weeks.
Paul, did you want to ask a quick question to back up before I
Yes.
get?
Yes,
go ahead.
very quick. With respect to the subject chimney, is it a functional fireplace, or what does it serve? Is it operational?
It is not operational.
What does that mean? Why?
Oh, well, you remember the house that burned down like a year ago? It would need significant work to make it operational. I'm guessing it could be if it were rebuilt, but The exterior is significantly degraded, and I wouldn't light a fire in it and risk my house.
Okay, thank you.
But
All right.
it is probably original to the house.
All right. Nia, any thoughts?
I have nothing further to add over and above what has already been said. Look
Thank
forward
you.
to the site visit.
You get the award for brevity. Dennis, last but not least.
Yeah, I think the changes, the structural changes are fine with me. Just to clarify further, to push the chimney further, there's actually something on the other end of it, a fireplace, a Franklin stove, a furnace, something there?
There's a fireplace in one room in the dining room that, as you heard Pam said, they don't use.
So in the future, if someone were to want to use that and fix the chimney, it would be gone, correct?
Correct. But they
Okay.
would have the chimney in the parlor, in the front parlor.
And that
Yeah.
would serve the chimney in the dining room?
No. That's the front decorative chimney. We don't use that either to avoid the risk of fire, but it could be made functional.
Okay, so they could both be made functional.
Theoretically.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Okay, theoretically. And the other thing I wanted to explore, because while Abby may do chimneys, I do windows. You want to replace how many windows? Which windows?
The ones in the main house.
You want to replace all the windows in the main house?
Yep.
Why?
Operational, they're not as operational. They leak, the usual things.
Have you explored having them restored?
Not thoroughly, no.
Okay. I'm going to push hard on the fact that you should, and that if they're not operating, I grew up in a Victorian house and the windows didn't operate and I survived. And some of them, my father fixed the lead weights. Some of them he didn't. There's such things as a stick you can put underneath them to hold them up. So I'm not in favor of replacing windows just for the sake of replacing them, unless they're rotted or there's something really, really bad going on with them. I think we really ought to explore how to save those windows.
Okay. Well,
They're highly variable. So some of them are pretty rotted, and some of them are not as bad. So I think, we could explore that a little bit and see what we could do there.
And didn't you say, didn't you also say that you weren't going to replace them exactly as they are?
No.
You are going to replace them exactly as they are.
Yeah. I don't know exactly what we would do otherwise, but yes, they would be.
Okay.
Well, I don't think they wouldn't have the storm sash, right?
Right, which is.
Right. Yeah.
So
No.
Right.
Yeah. Two
They're not
owners
talking about
ago put the storm windows on over the existing windows.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Dennis. You've heard from the window police and
The chimney police.
Chimney police on the HDC this evening. So let me see if we have any other thoughts from the commission. I don't see any, but so we are gonna do a site visit in a couple of weeks. Let me see if there's any public comment. Is there any public comment on this application at 66 Monument Street? I don't see any. All right, any final words of wisdom, Betsy or Pam, before we see you in a couple weeks?
No.
No.
Okay, thank you.
I just say, I do appreciate Dennis's concern with the windows and I totally understand that, but Dennis, come on, there's got to be more than just surviving in a house, right? There's got to be the ability to enjoy it and open all the windows if you want.
Dennis
Right.
still has the stick from his childhood bed.
I do. I use it all the time.
And not have to have your furnace on super high all the time
I think this
to heat your
explains.
house.
I think this
One person
explains.
saying kids are going to be guillotined. I have to say, my head and my sisters and my brothers are still there, and we had windows without sashes and without the weights in them.
Yeah, I don't think guillotine was the concern, but just the ability to eat.
Well,
All right, all right.
All right.
Thank you.
You're
Appreciate your
welcome. All right,
time.
now hang on. We've got to do a motion. I've
Oh,
got to have
sorry.
a motion.
Public, you need comment.
I asked for public comment already.
Okay.
There was none. And so I'd take a motion from any of you, commissioners. that is.
I move that we continue the application for 66 Monument Street to December 17th, subject also to a site visit at 8:30 a.m.
Second,
All right, all in favor? Paul, you made the motion, I'm assuming.
Yes,
Melinda?
aye.
Aye. Luis?
Aye.
Aye. Abigail?
Aye.
Yes. Dennis?
I have no vote, but I'll say aye anyway.
Well, you can vote. Mia
aye.
and Catherine.
Aye.
And I do want to thank the applicant for a very complete application. It warms our hearts to see such a great application.
It does, very well done.
All right, we'll see you folks in a couple of weeks.
Good.
Thank you.
All right, good night. All right, moving right along. We are on 536 Lowell Road now, Barrett Farm Historic District. This is Allison Kennedy and Jonathan Bird, who I think are here this evening, although I can't. Yes, I see John Bird. Now this is a certificate of appropriateness to construct additions, a dormer, and other associated improvements. So welcome, folks.
Thank you.
And if you've watched our other two applications, you know the drill. So we're just going to look for we're going to do a site visit because this is a significant change to the structure. Let me just check. At 9 o'clock, can the commission stay for an hour and a half of site visits? Okay, let's just assume we can. Would 9 o'clock on the 17th work for you folks for a site visit? And this is just for us to look.
Yes.
Okay, terrific. All right, well, welcome. And I see Elise is here. Hi, Elise. And I guess without any further blabbing on my part, we can, Elise, are you going to present?
Yes,
All right, welcome.
Thank you.
All right, Heather, you're driving the bus, I think.
Yes.
There you go.
So, in front of you, you see the existing drawings. It's the original house was built in 1937, and then additions were added at later dates. There are three aspects to our application, and maybe Heather, we could show the plans, might be easier. So the first one is to connect the garage and the house with a mudroom. Okay, there is existing porch will remain. So that's right there. The second part is on the second floor, adding a dormer to give headroom. So part of this, just to kind of give you a little background, the house was somewhat disjointed. And so for us, you'd go up the back staircase, you'd cut through a bedroom, and then you'd kind of turn around to the main section. So what the Birds and Allison and Jonathan wanted to get out of this was a larger family room, an upstairs where they didn't have to walk through a bedroom to get to the rest of the bedrooms. So this is the front, you see the front existing staircase, and then a real master bedroom with its own bathroom. The existing two bathrooms will remain, but you could see that they're fairly small. And the bedroom is not terrible, but it's not very large. And so on the first floor, maybe go back to the first floor plan. Okay, so on the first floor, it's really the mudroom. We're switching around the stairs, which obviously isn't really, you don't see from the outside. The kitchen is a new kitchen that they did a couple of years ago. So the real issue came into, they didn't want to add any more space on the first floor that would block their view to the pond from the kitchen. So, and from the dining room. So hence, and they really love their outdoor space. So right now there's an existing deck. So we're doing, the bedroom is going to come out as a covered deck, to kind of have a covered deck area on the first floor and the master bedroom above that. And then, so there's very little change to that side of the house. We're just trying to create kind of really better the circulation on the first floor as well. So it is from Lowell Road. What I tried to do is I took a bunch of photos, and you obviously will see the mudroom connector, and you will see, maybe show the front elevation, Heather. You will, so on this side, you will see that that existing porch is there, that goes across and connects it as it's open between right now the garage and the house. So you will see a new door in that location. The windows are all staying the same. And then on the second floor, you'll see a new dormer. And the dormer is there so that they can get headroom and really connect the two parts of the house on the second floor. So it's that dormer. So that is very, very visible, obviously, from Lowell Road. So the other addition, so you see the rear addition, you see it's on the left side. We're proposing new French doors that would go between the two windows that are existing in the dining room area. That's in the lower left side on the rear elevation. And then the new master bedroom above. We're doing the hip roof, all the things will match. I mean, there's nothing that detailed about this house. I would say the original house, obviously, is the hip roof. And then the addition they added on as a gambrel, which then they followed through with the garage. But we're just keeping it a hip roof and that in the back. So from the back, you don't see it from any right of way. What you do see it, especially now, and I did go by today and took a couple more pictures that I sent to Heather, and you'll see it on the site visit, is as you come down Lowell Road with all the leaves gone, you will see it on the side there. And maybe show the next elevation, Heather. Yes, on this. So you'll see it on the right-hand side. You don't see it well, even without the leaves, but you kind of, you will see it. So to me, that's the most visible as you're coming down, kind of crossing the bridge, and also from the little pond, which, I mean, Jonathan Allison can talk a little more about it, but I don't think it's a really public pond. I think if there's a few people out there, but I guess it is a public way. So you would see it from the pond, but it's very hard to see this elevation anywhere else. So, I mean, that's generally it. There's no, we're going to copy everything, siding, all that other stuff. We're not changing any other windows or doors. So that's you kind of see the connector I showed on the section on the lower drawing. I mean, you'll never see the mudroom because it's kind of right between the garage is right there up against it on the other side of that.
Heather, can I ask to put up the site plan? I see there's a site plan.
Yes, and this, this did go through, this did go through conservation last night, and it was very, there were no issues with it at all. So, because so there's the existing deck, and you see the yellow is the proposed, and it's kind of on what is the existing deck right now.
Mm-hmm. Was that east elevation at least the original front of the house?
It could have been, yes.
I mean, it almost looks, it's a very
But Jeremy's listening to this whole thing too.
Did you ask him if he's worried about the woman being?
Somebody unmuted themselves. John, you're unmuted. Oh, there you go.
Yes, I think it probably was. I did a house like this number of years ago on Coolidge, where you had both fronts were both the front and the back were original fronts, which was kind of interesting. But this one, I mean, it has a very distinct front, and you go in the front door, and that's where the stairs are. Mm-hmm. So right now, that door that faces the pond actually just goes into the living room. So
very interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting because it does, I agree with you, it does have a look of a front, and that is what, kind of concerned me about, the addition on the back, but it's kind of all the pragmatic reasons where they really don't want to fill it underneath. They don't need the space there. And it's, they like the idea of the covered porch because they sit outside a lot, but they don't necessarily want it screened. So.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Elise. All right. So we're set for a site visit in a couple of weeks. Let's just go around and see if there are any initial thoughts, comments, and I'll pick on Paul first again.
Could we just see the perspective from Lowell Road in the public way? Not the water, but
No, it's down. It's not this one. Yeah, right there. It's the front one with all the arched porch. That's the front elevation. That's the Lowell Road. So the
Right,
front
and-
porch, that's all existing, that's all staying.
So, oh, okay, you're not closing in that porch, Elise? I didn't quite understand.
No, the porch isn't getting closed in. We're just adding a mudroom kind of behind it.
And the dormer above it.
And then the dormer above it, yes,
Okay,
yes, yeah.
no other questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Melinda. Oh, you're muted though.
Sorry, I have no
That's okay.
questions.
All right, Dennis. Oh, you have to unmute yourself. There you go.
Sorry. I actually think the dormer adds character to the front of it. It's kind of a barren roof and not all that attractive, so I think it looks nice.
All right, thank you. Nia?
The only question I have is the facade that faces the pond. Would the master bedroom addition be visible in wintertime from Barnes Hill? You know, that the road on the other side of the pond?
No.
No,
No,
because there's
okay.
other property there.
Okay.
It's only visible, and it's visible as you're coming down Lowell Road.
Right.
And like I stopped today right before the pond, and I like kind of walked up there, and it's still hard to see because there's so many trees even without leaves, but you can see it. I mean, I won't pretend you can't.
Okay, no further questions.
All
I
right,
look
thank
forward
you,
to the
Nia.
site visit.
All right, Catherine.
I too look forward to the site visit, and certainly by what I see on the plans, I think it's looking very good. And that's all.
Thank you, Catherine. Luis.
No comments. Just looking forward to the site visit.
Thank you, sir. And Abigail, last but not least.
I have nothing to add. See you at the site visit.
You're not going to ask where the chimneys are?
I'll ask at the site visit, obviously.
Now you're revealing her Achilles heel. All right. So I don't think, if there are no further comments from commissioners, why don't I open it up? Is there any public comment on the application for a certificate of appropriateness at 536 Lowell Road? I don't see any. So I would look for a motion to continue from someone.
I move that we continue the application for 536 Lowell Road to the next meeting on 12/17, subject to a site visit that morning at 9 a.m.
Second.
All right. All in favor? I'm just going to go around the horn. Paul.
Aye.
Melinda.
Aye.
Luis.
Aye.
Nia.
Aye.
Catherine.
Aye.
Dennis.
Aye.
And Abigail.
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. So thank you. All right, folks. Allison, Jonathan, thank you. And Elise, thank you for the
Thank you.
presentation. And we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
All right, folks. Have a good night. All right. We are making progress here. 520 Lexington Road is our next application. And this is, let me read what it is. This is a certificate of appropriateness to replace a window with a bay window and to replace a window with a door. And Mr. Jeffrey Young, I think, is here. Mr. Young, are you the applicant? There you are.
Yes, hi, I'm
All right,
applying.
welcome. Welcome.
Thank you.
Could you walk us through your material if you would, please?
Sure. And I need to make a correction. We are replacing a window with a bay, but there's an existing door that's going to be replaced with a window, as opposed to the window being
Gotcha.
door.
Okay, sorry. I might have done that myself. All right. Sorry about that. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I think it was written that way by in error, but yeah, they have an outdated kitchen in this, beautiful house. They want to, update it. They love to cook. And I think the stove actually died about a year ago, and the contractor cut the counters and put a stove in about 2 weeks ago so they could do Thanksgiving dinner there, but on the inside. So what they want to do is stay in the same footprint of the existing kitchen, but just build this, put a bay window over the sink right there. Yep. And then that door, they'd like to close that off and make a window in there so that they can extend the countertop all the way to the wall, and it will give them a little more working space. Yeah, this is the plan.
Mhm.
So that's yeah, that's the street facade, and you can see the door there, and then from the side you can see the existing window in the center of that small bump out on the first floor. And then there's the bay added on.
Right.
And again from the west elevation. And there's a couple of renderings. Oh, here they are. Yeah, that shows it probably the best. We're using the Pella, historical windows. They're their architectural series.
Mhm.
Everything will stay in the same character. The little brackets will match, the existing brackets that you see on the porch of the house. Trying to maintain the character that's there already.
Mhm.
But it's pretty straightforward and simple. Just those two little changes to the facade.
Jeffrey, let me just ask a quick question. The window, the door that's being taken out, we can't see that, right, from the public way. It's on the, or can we?
You can actually. It's that picture
Oh, there
there.
it is. I see it.
Yep. So it's it does, that faces the street.
Got you.
But
you're going to leave the porch, the steps.
Yep, that's going to stay. We thought about trying to incorporate that space, but it just it's too difficult because the interior staircase is also on the other side of that wall, so you really wouldn't be able to access it. They like having the little porch there. They don't need that entrance because they've got the other door right on the front of the house from there. So it's not really a circulation issue.
Okay. All right. And I looked through the application package there. I think the windows are mostly what's there. Paint will match, is proposed to match. I don't really have any other questions. All right, well, let's go around. I don't know if this is going to require a site visit, but let's go around and see what folks have to say. So Paul, I mind if I pick on you first?
So this is directly across the street from 525 Lexington Road, is that right?
Yes, yep, the big yellow house that sits on the hill.
It's not yellow anymore, but yes. So the porch, you're going to retain the porch, but it's inaccessible from the interior.
Right.
So it becomes just decorative. Is that the idea?
Yeah, you're talking about small side,
Yeah, where you're removing the door, you're replacing it with a window. So there's no longer an entry or egress from that, correct?
It could become a takeout window if we have another coronavirus, or I'm kidding.
Yeah. Okay, I think I understand. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Catherine.
I do find that element a little curious, I guess is the word. I mean, I understand the functional reasons for it in terms of programming and the changes to the interior. But I think my preference would be to keep the door if there was a way to do that. And those are my only comments.
Thank you, Catherine. Luis.
I echo the previous comments. I have a lot of trouble finding sort of a stair that goes to nowhere. And I don't think that we collectively as a commission can ignore the fact that we have a sort of a entirely non-conforming structure. If there's a window, there's a window. If there's a door, there's a door. If there's a stair, you should go somewhere. So I believe that the architect should create a solution that is functional. You see, that it's being proposed has no functionality whatsoever, you know, other than the next pandemic, which hopefully we will
Right,
not happen in
right.
100 years.
I agree. I mean, we looked at other options and they liked it as it was, and just so if they were happy with it, I was happy with it. But I understand your point. I agree. I think maybe a solution would be to make sort of you could frame so it was a faux door, or I don't know, or fill in space.
Well, hang on a second. Let me just hear from other folks before we start offering you design advice, which we are not supposed to do exactly, but we do it anyway.
Okay.
We'll get back to you, Luis. I think you're
I
you're
have
on
no,
the right
no
track.
more comments. See, that's all I said. That the architect understood exactly what I said.
All right, thank you, sir. Melinda.
So the steps to nowhere is an enigma to me as well. I would think you could just pull out the steps and pull out the railing there and you'd be okay, and leaving the roof line above it. But if you can't come up with anything else, that's fine. But if you can adjust that, that might be better.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Melinda. Abigail.
So I have no objection to the bay window. I think it's perfectly appropriate, and I understand their reasonings for it. Likewise, I think the orphan window is odd. I would think that the least obtrusive solution would be to simply leave the steps and leave the door and build the counter in front of it on the interior. That would be my preference. I think there's a reason that the structure was built with a second door. I think it looks appropriate that way. So my preference would be to retain at least the exterior appearance. Internally, whatever needs to happen to make that work. That's a solution for the homeowners, but my preference would be that the exterior, at least as to the door, is maintained.
Okay.
Dennis. Thank you, Abigail.
I agree with everything that's being said. I think it's, well, I should step back for a minute. As far as we know, that second door and that porch and all of that is original to the house, correct? That is an addition.
I think that's an addition. It's actually that bump out I was done maybe 15 years ago or so.
So the bump out and the little porch and the door is, oh, that's 15 years old?
I believe so. It's not that old. I mean, it's a poured concrete foundation underneath there and everything. There's an addition to the back that was done along with that, I believe.
Oh. Well, I'd be open to some kind of architectural change that would make the window that you want to put in look like it's a part of the house and it was always there. That's probably more than they want to spend on redoing that whole area. Barring that, I agree with Abigail. I would just do what you want on the inside and leave the outside like it is. But if it's not early, I don't mind some kind of architectural solution to dealing with the window they want there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you, Dennis. Nia, not last but not least.
I agree that the bay window, no problem. I do have the same concerns about the stairs to nowhere. I like that little side porch, and I'm sure there's something creative that can be done, hopefully, to leave that door in there. And as Abby said, change the programming inside, or just do what you want inside, but have the door remain as a fake door.
Okay.
But I'm open to other suggestions too. It's just I don't love what's being proposed.
Yeah, I fully.
The stairs to nowhere.
Yeah.
All right, so we've heard from all the commissioners. The only thing I would add, Jeff, is that I wonder if there's some way to do, I'm just trying to think of a way. I think I think it should either, the stairs should either lead to a fake door or the stairs should be removed. Because,
But what do
I
you-
wonder if there's a way of holding that edge of that roof up with a bracket that might start to match the brackets on the front porch. You know, it's a little bit, the scale would be different, but if the posts came out and all the railing and the stairs and all, and the platform stayed, it could be a little.
If I may interrupt, I don't believe we should be suggesting.
Yes, I
design,
know you're
schemes. Yeah.
Well, okay, so I think you're right. I think we're struggling with this, with the porch, the stair to nowhere. So what do you think? You want to take another whack at it, Jeff, or?
Well, I mean, I think they like that porch, so I think they're probably fine leaving the door as it is if you know, the approval had that as the caveat. You know, so that they can move forward. I mean, I agree too, architecturally. I think it's a much better appearance, so I would recommend that.
Okay, I mean, I started to do exactly what I told Luis we shouldn't do because I'm an architect too, so I can't.
I appreciate it, and I have some ideas about what to do with that to make it actually function better as well, and keep the appearance as it is now. So
Okay, well, I suppose if what we're looking at tonight, if the amendment is to leave the door, then I think that has removed the objections from everybody on the commission, right? I'm just sort of looking around. Paul.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, from I agree with all the observations about the stairs and the porch, but I don't think the solution is necessarily, in my mind, is necessarily limited to leaving the existing door as is. I think there could be a cosmetic change, an exterior cosmetic change that might solve that problem. So I'm happy to leave that to the architect, but I don't view the only alternative that would get at least my approval is to leave the existing door. I think there are other imaginative things that could be done there.
Well, Pierre?
Yes, Nia.
Well, certainly, assuming everybody else agreed with me, we could go ahead and approve the bay window and exclude, you know, the change that's been made regarding the window. And if they would like to come back at some future date with a different proposal, they can do so. But at least this way we would pass the window, and if they want to just leave it as is and work with it inside, they could go ahead.
Yeah,
That's
they
exactly
don't need
right.
a vote on that.
Right.
Not going to change it. It's not going to change.
Yeah, just exclude that change from the
Right.
approval.
That would be perfectly fine.
Does that make sense, Jeff? So in other words,
Yeah.
all we'd approve tonight would be the
that
bay
works.
window.
That works. I understand, and I totally agree. I could, if then propose other changes to them, and then bring them back to you guys if they want to do something else.
Yep.
If you
Okay.
do that, I think we would need to do a new application.
Okay. Yeah.
A new application, just because you couldn't really amend the approval to then approve something that wasn't approved in the first place.
That's
That's
like a Mobius strip.
that's fine.
Oh, Heather. Oh, Heather.
Heather is wonderful.
Another-
Stop it, you know, she's just great. It keeps us out of trouble.
It's sort of like
Keeps us
when
honest.
it's like matter and antimatter. Approvals meeting at the wrong time and space create chaos in the town.
I fully understand that.
Well,
Glad
that's good because I don't.
I know. I'm kidding.
The alternative is, if you don't want to have to come back with a new application, is we simply continue this. If you want another 2 weeks, right, to you know, think about it and come back with possible change of plan.
In 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, where we meet on the 17th.
Okay, well, why don't we do that? Why don't we try that? We'll hold off, and then because the primary thing is we have to order the bay window. There's a long lead time on that, and want to get that in the works. So
well, I think the continuance could include, we have no objection to the bay window, but can we not do that, Heather? Continue the.
I would just keep it all together. It's a simple application. There's no objections on the bay window. I don't foresee any issues with the applicant ordering the bay window now.
okay.
Since I didn't hear
That
it.
makes sense, Jeff.
Comment still. See if there's any public comment issues with the bay window. But
All right, so the good point. Let me see, is there any public comment on this application at 520 Lexington Road? I don't see any. So I think that's what we'll do, Jeff. Why don't we, I'd look for a motion to continue this, but I think since there's no objection to the bay window, I think you can get that order in.
All right.
So I'd look for a motion.
Why, excuse, Mr. Chairman, why wouldn't we just approve the application as amended and limited to the bay window? I mean, I don't understand why we're continuing it.
Because we don't want to have the homeowner go through a new application. They'd have to go through a whole new application if we approve this one with the limitation and then another change. So
which would hugely hold them up.
Yeah.
Which would hold them up for weeks.
It's just a procedural.
Well, okay.
All right, so will someone make a motion to continue, por favor?
I move that we continue the application for 520 Lexington Road to our next meeting on December 17.
Luis seconded. All in favor? Paul?
Aye.
Melinda?
Aye.
Luis, I said aye already. Abigail?
Aye.
Dennis? I saw an aye. Mia?
Aye.
And
Aye.
Catherine?
Sorry.
Catherine.
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. All right, so Jeff, thank you for being so willing to do that. And we'll see you in a couple weeks.
All right, well, thanks, everybody.
You're very welcome. And Luis, thank you for scolding me. I need that sometimes. All right, so our next application is 49 Main Street. This is Graham Nuts and Chocolate. This is a signage application to install one new wall sign above the front door. I don't know who the applicant is, Heather.
I
don't see a name.
The name on the application says Nikki Krugnall. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correct. Someone here for Graham Nuts?
Krugnali.
Ed Spinney.
Oh, hi, Ed.
Hi, how are you?
Welcome. Very well, thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Could you run us through, this is, I'm looking at the application online, and Heather, would you mind putting that? Thank you. All right, so we're looking at that page right there. So it's a painted on sign.
No, we're looking to do a raised letter.
Okay, sorry, raised letters.
If you move down, the letters will be painted, but they'll be raised in oh, well, okay. We were considering a 1/2 inch raised with a painted letter. It kind of goes with the error of if I don't know, Heather, if you got the email we sent along for the old photos that we had, that showing that there was lettering and signage up there. as far back as the 30s. That's 20s or 30s. And then the next picture is in the 90s. So we're just looking for a little more visibility. It's challenging times. We feel that it's a big blank space that, when you're coming from certain directions, you don't know who we are. If somebody's looking for Graham, we didn't want to confuse it with Chocolates and Nuts, just our brand name. We did the old-fashioned window lettering, chocolates and things like the old pharmacy as well. So this would just round out, we think, the full sign package, and really would be very similar to the older facilities that were in this corner. So I'm certainly open to any questions.
And let me just ask, do we have colors?
Yes, it's going to match the PMS blue color of the existing sign. That's the projecting sign that we put up that you guys approved a few years back when she opened, right there on the right.
All right.
So it will be the same exact blue color.
Okay, sorry. So let me go around and see. Thank you, Ed. Paul, any thoughts?
My instinctive concern about this is its precedential value. I mean, if we do this, I think we're positioning ourselves to have comparable request applications from a whole host of downtown storefronts. And I just don't know if we want that sort of banner wrapped around many of the stores along Main Street or adjacent streets. So that's my concern. And having said that, my footnote is I would be amenable to a temporary arrangement that recognizes some of the stresses of the current times, but that limits the sign, say, to 6 months, and then it would be a temporary fix that would give you this for 6 months or so, or 9 months, whatever is a rational time window. But I'm concerned myself about the permanence of something that, as I say, puts us in a circumstance in which we'll be hard put to deny others something at a location which may not look quite as good. So anyway, that's a concern I would love to hear from other commissioners.
Okay, thank you. Let me just go around. Melinda.
I don't quite get what it's going to look like in the end. I'm sorry, but I see Graham. I don't know what's going to be on either side of it. What's
Nothing. Just the Graham, what we're showing. We're not, if you look at the old photos, pretty much there was just some lettering over the entrance door. The older photos show from pier to pier or window to window, but we're not asking for any additional anything but the Graham.
Okay.
That's our image, our logo, our brand, and it just helps. We feel it's going to help. Right now we have a temporary banner saying we're open, which is absolutely necessary because of this COVID situation.
Right.
But we're looking for more of a permanent thing that we really did some homework and research on in the historics of this particular building, and I don't think any other building that I can see in the square. I didn't critique every building, but I don't think that would be setting any precedent. Would be absolutely just agreeing to what's been there in the past since the 20s and 30s and right through the 90s.
So what you're telling me is that the letters are going to be exactly the same size.
What you see is exactly what it would look like. Yes.
Okay. So this is sort of in kind as far as I can tell, except you're going to have 3D because you're going to come out a little bit. Correct?
Yeah, we just felt that was a little classier and a little more old-fashioned than the cheaper peel and stick letters.
Okay. Then I have no problem.
Thank you, Melinda. Dennis.
I have no problem. Matter of fact, I assumed it was there. It's kind of a blank space, and I remember when the pharmacy was there and it had a very nice sign. Matter of fact, there's a pharmacy in either corner back in my day, and so I think it's great. I have no problem with it whatsoever.
All right, thank you. Abigail.
So I had two questions. What is the width of the sign band, the white space?
The height or the width? Width is left to right, height is top to bottom. Which way? Height. That is like 18 inches.
Okay, what's the height of the G? I'll take the biggest letter.
Well, that's kind of unfair because the G goes down so low, but that's about 10 inches.
It's not an unfair question. I'm just curious as to, I just want to get a sense of the proportions of the letters. I don't have an objection to it.
No, I didn't mean unfair. I meant that's the tallest one.
Yeah, no,
It's a nice negative space below the RAN.
Of the proportion between the sign band and the actual lettering. I don't have an objection to it. I think Paul's concern is valid. I think what differentiates the space is that, so there are some storefronts in Concord that are designed with this, what I would call a sign band built into the architecture, where whatever the shop, the mercantile, the apothecary, whatever it was, would be delineated by a sign in that space.
Yes.
And there are some storefronts in Concord that don't have that. And I think a band sign like that would be inappropriate on those. Where a sign band exists, I think a sign is appropriate. Given the fact that it is raised letters, given the fact that it is, I think in proportion to the height of the sign band, given the fact that it's not lit, which is always a concern, I don't have an objection to it. So in this instance, at this location, with an existing sign band, I think lettering is appropriate.
Thank you, Abigail. Nia.
I agree with Abigail. I think we have other sign bans in the Main Street shopping district. I think it looks great. I remember the toy shop having, their sign there, and I think it looks fabulous.
Thank you, Nia. Catherine.
I agree. I think it looks very appropriate. The proportion is good. So I have no objection.
Thank you, Catherine. And Luis, last but not least. Oh, but you're muted.
I think that this is a fine addition to the whole aesthetics of the corner. I remind the commission that when the applicant came first to put the signs that you see on the right side of this picture, the grand sign, we dissuaded them to put another sign on the Walden Street side because we thought it would be too crowded, and they agreed with that. And I think that the overall result has been very positive, and I believe that this is a very fine addition to that corner, which will increase its aesthetic appeal, and that will be a positive addition to the whole thing. And this doesn't set any precedent from my perspective.
Great.
All right, thank you. So Ed, all I would add is I personally would love to see actual dimensions somewhere, and only because the bottom of the G looks like just a little too close to the bottom edge. What I would like to see is the same spacing above the umlaut below the G. Do you know what I mean? Just like a little bit.
Yeah,
agree.
Tighter.
We're kind of close to that. That's the actual.
Do you see what I'm saying?
If you look down to the bottom right of this drawing, there is no measurement there. I agree, and I could certainly supply that.
Yeah.
But that white space that the Graham is in is the actual height. And the G is slightly closer than the umlaut. I'm an old sign guy, so I look very much at negative space versus measurement of space.
Negative, positive space.
Right. So
Gotcha.
that's
okay.
I felt that if you sit back and you look, that it looks like it belongs where it is. But I'm certainly willing to put any measurements to it that you'd like. But
I'm not an old sign guy.
Peter, I agree with you. I think the G is too close.
I mean,
Yeah, I certainly can move it up or make it a little smaller and
scooch it.
potentially move the umlauts a little closer to the A and make everything and send you a
Okay,
final before.
that would be great. And then just maybe some notes about the depth of the letters.
Yeah, I'll
and
actually
I
show
don't
you a
think we-
side view as well.
Okay, that would be great. And there are no fasteners, no visible fasteners.
No visible fastening.
I'm assuming. And then the paint color just has to be noted somewhere. I think it might say, but I don't remember.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
that was my comment.
Can we
Any other thoughts?
potentially get a conditional approval based on us supplying this via email, or do we have to hold over to another meeting?
Oh, no, I think we can we'll approve it with comment, I believe, this evening. Let's just, I just want to make sure there aren't any other comments from commissioners.
Great, thank you.
I don't see any. Let me open it up. Any public comment? 49 Main Street signage. I'm looking at the few people who are attending. I don't see any. So I think we're ready to make a motion.
I move,
I'm
sorry,
looking to the
go ahead.
committee.
I move we approve the application of 49 Main Street to install signage with the requirement that the specifications of the font of the lettering be sent to the commission beforehand, specifically the size of the G of the grand.
Great.
Can I get a second on that?
A second.
Melinda?
Mhm.
Any comment? Paul, were you going to make a comment there?
Well, I think we need a little more fulsome disclosure. We want the dimensions.
Yep.
We want some adjustment of either the umlaut or the G.
The paint specifications in the
Right.
sign. Yep.
I think the color, I think you represented the color to be blue. Is that right?
Yes.
And the depth. I mean, as long as all of those dimensional characteristics are provided and are consistent with the hearing tonight.
Yep.
Then that's a windy amendment to Luis's motion.
Luis, will you accept that windy amendment to your motion?
Could I further
accept
amend?
the windy amendment as long as it comes from Paul.
Uh-oh. There's a little more wind coming from Nia. Yeah.
So to add more wind. Perhaps it would be prudent to have it be for, I would normally say administrative review, but in this case, with Heather being absent, possibly, Peter, you put your eyes on it.
Sure. Thank you.
Add that to the
Wind.
wind.
Okay. And I did not mean to accuse people of sleeping. There's something's going on with our bandwidth that people keep freezing. So several of you had your eyes closed. I really did think you were asleep. Sorry. I didn't mean to cast aspersions there. All right. So we have a motion and a windy second or two. All in favor, Paul,
Aye.
Melinda,
Aye.
Luis,
Aye.
Nia,
Aye.
and Catherine,
Aye.
Abigail,
Aye.
Dennis.
Aye.
And I'm aye as well. So it's approved as amended and you're good to go.
Great. I need just a few days and I'll send that off. And Heather, congratulations and good luck.
All right. Thank you, Ed.
Thank you.
All right, folks. And last but not least, our patiently, that was our last public hearing, correct? Yes. Now we're on to other business. We have an amendment to a certificate at 73 Monument Street. And it looks like John Battle, who's been patiently waiting, is now able to join our meeting. You know what I'm going to ask folks? Heather, do you see everybody freezing on your screen as well? Or is it just me?
No.
No,
be me.
must be you.
All right, I'm sorry about that. We have
Just
too many
you.
People watch, everybody's watching Netflix in my house, except me. Netflix, Disney Plus. John, welcome. So this is looks like it's something switched from Marvin to Pella. Tell us what's
Correct. So the underlying principle here is that we have something that probably will make the window police a little bit happier and the lighting police a little bit happier.
Oh, we have lighting
so-
police too. I forgot about that.
So in this case, we had previously approved a Marvin clad window for use on the back of the house. After further investigation into the construction realities, we want to switch it because of issues of delivery and basically and color. We're going to switch it back to a wood window manufactured by Pella to match the rest of the windows in the house. And it would be a painted product such that would we have complete control over the final color, which is what the owners were concerned about. And the second is to remove an existing floodlight off of the garage. The garage repairs have been completed. And we want to remove the floodlight off the garage and replace it with 3 sconces, one, as the drawing shows, one in the center and then one left and right. The style of the sconce, you have a cut sheet right there, is to match the pole light that's currently on the driveway down.
All right. Seems pretty straightforward. Let me see if there are any questions from commissioners. Paul, any questions?
Nothing, thank you.
Catherine?
None.
Dennis?
Are we concerned about what, the kind of light that gives off, and it's a downlight?
You mean
It's the
dark
same
skies concerns?
It's the same type of fixture that we currently have in the pole light. And we thought rather than introducing, and that seemed like sort of his consistence just for continuity, the logic of continuity, we thought that was the right thing to do. But when we're willing to give up the floodlight in making this change, which I thought you would be pleased about.
It's going in the right direction. I have no problem with it. I know that just to be fair, we have that stipulation with many new lights we put on buildings. I just don't know if that's applicable in this situation.
Are you talking, Dennis, about the visibility of the bulb or the uplight?
No.
The Kelvin and the lumens.
Right.
Okay. I'm sorry, I can't read it from here. Do you know what the wattage, John, is of these
I'm going to
lights?
ask you to zoom. Hold on. I can bring it up on my phone. Jeremy, Jeremy from my office is also listening. Jeremy, do you have the lighting specifications on that fixture?
It says 160 watt bulb.
Yeah, 160 watt bulb.
So you can have 3 60-watt bulbs.
Correct, for the whole front of the garage.
Hmm.
It's not terrible, I guess.
All right, thank you, Dennis. Nia, I'm skipping to you.
John, just a question, and forgive me, I don't mean to be rude. The existing post light, is that seated glass, or is that just, the way the photo's been taken, or it hasn't been
I
washed in a
think that's
while?
just age and the fact that it hasn't been cleaned.
Right, well, that's
So-
what I'm assuming. It's just, I just want to be clear.
It's
if
just
you
clear
put-
glass. And if you would like to, if we can get this, I'm not sure if it's available in the specification. I can check, let me see if I'm looking at the spec sheet right now. See if seated glass is available. I will find out. No, it does not come with seated glass. That's not an alternative.
Okay, I just wanted to say if the post light is seated glass, I think you should do something with seated glass on the
Correct.
garage.
It doesn't, it is not. It's just a little dirty.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you.
Do you want him to make these dirty as well? Like just
Yeah, that's-
splatter some-
That would help.
Thank you, Nia. Luis.
I have no comments.
Thank you, Luis. Melinda.
I actually think that probably one light over the garage and between the 2 bays would be better, and then keeping the other lamppost, because you need some light to get up to the stairs to the house from the garage. It's not that close, and it'll be dark if you don't keep it.
We're keeping the pole light in either case. We're taking a floodlight off of the garage.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. All right.
There's a floodlight
I
up in
thought
the
you were
upper
taking
corner.
the other. Okay.
No,
I still think maybe one light would be enough, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't feel strongly either way.
we
Thank
just
you,
didn't think we
Melinda.
felt it
And
didn't look as good.
think it looked just fine with just one instead of three, but that's okay.
Okay, Abby, any comments?
I don't have any objection.
Okay. And I not strongly moved in any particular direction, but thank you, John. All right, so I think we have very few public folks left, but I'll open it up to public comment. Any comment on this amendment to the application at 73 Monument? I see none. So I'd look for a motion.
I move that we approve the amendment to the application for 73 Monument Street and the switch from Marvin clad windows to Pella and the lighting as proposed.
Second.
Second, all in favor? Paul made the motion. I'm assuming you're an aye.
Yes.
Melinda,
Aye.
Luis,
Aye.
Dennis,
Aye.
Nia,
Aye.
Abigail,
Aye.
Catherine,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. John, thank you. So you're good to go.
Thank you all very much. Good night now.
All right, have a good night. All right, folks, just one other, I don't think we have any minutes, Heather, correct? There were no minutes posted. So the only other thing I wanted to touch on briefly is our historic districts expansion. Now, we had a meeting 2 weeks ago. The 21 Thoreau Street expansion is non-controversial. I think we're going to go ahead and draft that warrant article up, and maybe Heather will be back, but probably not before, but we'll handle that. That's just an amendment to the Main Street district, correct?
Yes.
I wanted to hear your feedback on the Jenny Duggan Road discussion. I think you all saw Luis had written some material, but I just want to hear where you think that's going. I'll save my comments till later. Paul, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, my inference from the totality of discussions was that it's a very mixed bag, even within the neighborhood. I mean, obviously, we heard from a couple people who are in opposition to it because they have concerns of having to jump through hoops through which they've never had to jump before, number one. And number two, they feel they're going to lose some control, at least administrative control, over even modest changes to their house. And they're probably right about that. I mean, maybe that's the cost of the district. I was also taken by the polling, which showed really, again, a pretty mixed result. About 40%, my memory is, approved of its becoming an historic district. Something like 38% disapproved, and others were undecided. I don't see that as I don't really see that as sufficient backing of the neighborhood, and I think that ought to concern us. I mean, we did say things in these meetings to sort of ignite their taking charge of their own fate here. I mean, it seems to me that one requirement ought to be that the neighborhood land one way or another, if it can, on the extent to which they want an historic district. But in the absence of that, I would find it difficult personally to support moving ahead with an historic district. Without more information, more support from the neighborhood, and a clearer vision of what they in fact want as a group.
Okay, thank you. I think there might be a couple of folks here from the neighborhood. We have a couple of folks from the public still here, just so you know. There is, Heather described to me, by the way, just for the commission's sake, there is always the rather complex option of forming an historic district and carving out properties from the district, so missing teeth, which, you know, is technically possible. It's not really great. for obvious reasons, but anyway, that's always another possibility if people really want to push it. But anyway, I think the other thing I just want to say is this is not something we're bringing to the town. This was that people came to us essentially for advice and support. This is not something we're imposing on the town. I wish we had made that clearer 2 weeks ago. But let me go around. Melinda, did you have thoughts about the meeting?
Yeah, I wish there had been a little more talk about the neighborhood in Lincoln that has, my understanding from a couple months back, that in fact Lincoln has taken a group of deck homes on one street and put them into historic district. And I'd like to actually have my memory refreshed on that, but I think that if that in fact was the case, it would have been nice to bring that up during that meeting that we had 2 weeks ago. I'm not really worried that there are going to be tear downs in that neighborhood, only because the homes are most of them are quite large, and they were more expensively built than, say, the majority of the homes, for example, in Canantum. So I don't really think there's a huge threat that people will start tearing those homes down. On the other hand, I do like the thought of preserving them. And if they were all preserved, even though we know there are a few that are not actually deck homes, I just think it would be an asset to the town to do that. I don't think it matters if everyone is in it, but I would like to see 70% of the homes there be in favor of it. I think that would make more sense. And I don't know how we reintroduce the Lincoln.
It's Brownswood, I think, is the district.
Yeah. I don't know how we bring that forward
Okay,
to them.
well,
I do know at least one of the
precedent.
people that was bringing that forward had mentioned that, but then it just seemed to, maybe not everybody's totally aware of that. So anyway, those are my comments.
Okay, thank you. Nia.
I think most of it's already been discussed, but I think I agree that, we really can't go ahead unless there is really a significant majority of people that are totally gung-ho about doing this. As you said, Peter, we're not trying to impose this on them. The people who are negative are very vocal and will be very vocal at town meeting. And I think, we ran into this already with the Sudbury Road amendment to Main Street a couple of years ago. I think it would be an uphill battle, and I just don't see that this is something for us to fight. I think, Paul's suggestion at the meeting several weeks ago that they get together and between them come up with a plan as to how to, not police, but, organize their own street if that's what they want to do, makes more sense than to make it a formal part of the historic districts.
Okay, thank you. I'm looking to Heather. This has happened so rarely. It's not like there's a precedent. I hear a lot of ideas about a majority. How do we decide what that threshold is?
It's really up to us because our bylaw is different and we don't have to follow, I think it's like 40C or something, or 30, I don't know. I've got
right.
we don't have to follow. There is like a percentage requirement buy-in for towns that do fall under that state statute for historic districts. So that might be something we look at. Like what is that percentage that other towns have to follow that we don't have to because we don't fall under that statute.
We'll find that out after tonight. You're going to have a lot of time tomorrow probably to read if you want to take the statute.
Yeah.
Sorry, I shouldn't make so many.
I
jokes.
don't think so, Heather.
Abigail. any thoughts?
Delusional.
Yeah, I mean, I'm of the mind of, I'm always in favor of more efforts for preservation, but this isn't something that we, kind of impose on a neighborhood. They came to us. I'm of the mind of if, we can help facilitate and we can provide guidance and we can provide expertise and we can provide kind of our stamp of approval, but I don't think we should be the driving force behind something that a neighborhood seems pretty mixed on. And as I said, I don't think there's an imminent threat. So if this is something that needs more time and needs more outreach, and in a year or two, neighbors come back and say this is something we really feel passionately about, then that's great. But I worry about the precedent of failing at trying to expand or create a new historic district. If we're faced with another situation where we really have to move in order to preserve something, that if we have kind of a black mark on the books, that there's kind of some resistance to it, that'll make it more difficult in efforts to expand or create new districts going forward. So I'm of the mind that if it's not really something that we are 100% confident in, it's not worth moving forward with.
Thank you. Catherine, other thoughts?
I don't have a great deal more to add that my fellow commissioners have not already said, but I do agree that I think the neighborhood just needs to come to a more solid consensus, or more of a unified approach in the neighborhood in general. And there are several homes that do not fall into the deck house architecture, and that does make it a little trickier, I think, in terms of having it slated as a historic district in general. But again, I am also very much in favor of preservation efforts if they can be made looking into the future. So I think, in essence, I would like to see something happen if there is more of a consensus in the neighborhood. That's all.
All right, thank you. Luis, thoughts?
Let me make sure am I muted?
Yeah, no, I can hear you.
Okay. I echo every single word that Abigail said. I think that we collectively have a misconception of what's the role of the Historic Districts Commission in a process like this. We're here to explain the advantages of being in a historic district and so forth. And I don't believe that we actually convey that in the meeting. You see, I think that we portrayed ourselves as a regulatory body that may interfere with people's rights to do things. So I believe that we should encourage the neighbors to propose a historic district. And there are some specific questions that they have, and I think that we should work as a commission, not because of this particular instance where we're being challenged with this issue, but as a matter of principle. See, we should be able to define very clearly what our guidelines are. You see, one of the poignant questions was, well, I have a house that's on a deck house, and I want to make some changes. What's going to guide you to approve what I can or cannot? And the same thing applies to somebody with a deck house. So I think that this gives an opportunity for us to work on those issues and to realize what our guidelines are, to have a better understanding, and most of all, a better language to convey what they mean. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Dennis, you're last but not least.
Yeah, I agree with a lot that has been said. I think I would love to see a follow-up poll. I think it would be interesting to see after our meeting with them what they now think and where it stands. But I agree with what Paul said. It's a mixed bag. And I sort of think of it in thirds: a third in favor, a third against, and a third doesn't know what they want and are unsure. But if you have 2/3 that are in that category, then it's not going to go anywhere. So I just don't see it something that I could see us pushing. I would say that
Karen said.
I would say
Which
the
category
fifth-
is that? You know, which third? Where are the 2/3?
So I would like to see what they have to think now if they talked with us. As far as Lincoln goes, I think the two communities have just different mindsets and images of what they're about, and the populace certainly does. Matter of fact, Lincoln has a whole association for modern houses. I forget the name of it.
Docomomo.
Peter, you may know, but you know they're very into this. So it's just a different, totally different type of community. I'd love to see us do a breakthrough and finally have one of these districts, but I'm not sure this is the one.
Paul, did you have a comment?
Yeah, I mean, at the risk of perpetuating this a little bit, I think that life being what it is and people being whom they are, if we drop this, it's going to die of its own weight. And it seems to me if we are concerned about potentially preserving those homes, what about a sort of summary letter to them, which I'd be prepared to draft for the chair's consideration or the group's consideration, that sort of sums up where we think we are and why, and discloses to them, again, I'm sure we already did in theory at least, the polling, and suggest to them that if they want this issue to be considered, then they need to get together. I mean, sort of remind them of things we already said, but say it in writing from the commission. I don't know if we have the right to do that or anything else. If we don't do that, it seems to me it's likely to sort of die on the vine, just people go on to other things in their lives, which maybe is okay, maybe that's the right result. But if we're wanting to sort of be careful here and see whether we should really be resurrecting something that is important to 2/3 of the people and they just haven't focused on it yet, then it seems to me we could recontact them and say, look, this is kind of up to you. Here's where we think we are. Now it's your baby, and if you want to come back to us, great. We'll give you 90 days or 6 months or whatever to do that. But you know, please get a hold of yourselves. I don't know.
First of all, thank you for offering to draft such a letter. Heather, does that, I mean, I actually like that idea that we formally acknowledge and thank people for participating and effectively we reply to, I guess it would be Matt Anderson Miller who brought the I don't even know what to say, it's not a proposal, but the idea before us, asked us about it. I think it would be nice to formally reply and summarize what we think, and then offer, you know, as you say, Paul, potential next steps, but, you know, with the following caveats or what have you. So I think,
yeah.
And then would we send that to everyone in the neighborhood, Heather, or just?
I would say yes. We send it to everyone in the neighborhood, not leave it to the sponsors.
Yeah, and Heather C can always set up like another Survey Monkey poll, just to re-poll people, you know, from that letter too, as well. So that's always an option.
Okay. Well, Paul, I like this suggestion, frankly, as the chair. There's no emergency, as people have pointed out. It's not like the wrecking ball is standing by. So why don't we kick this can down a couple weeks, and would you be able to do something in a couple weeks?
The short answer is no, but I'll get it to us by January 1.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right.
I just like,
yes,
can I just
Melinda.
say, don't forget that there are 2 homes that are on Powder Mill, not just Jenny Duggan.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. Well, thank you all, by the way, for that meeting. It was, you know.
Abigail has a question.
Oh, Abigail, sorry.
Something unrelated to bring up, but I noticed this today. Middlesex Savings Bank, our nemesis Chain and Bollard still exists despite, is it a year since we told them they had to take it down?
They appealed.
Not
quite. They appealed.
And then the appeal,
Right, and the appeal failed, and they didn't
Oh, did
appeal.
it?
They
Yeah.
never appealed the HDC's decision.
So they're done and it needs to be removed, right?
Has their period of appeal from the denial of the appeal expired?
Far expired.
Far expired.
I will send Heather Carey a note about that.
I call it our Ballard and Chain project.
Yeah, we have like limited research, but I walked by there the other day and I thought, my God, it's still there. And I know that procedurally there's nothing they have no options left. So, and it's looking kind of higgledy-piggledy kind of all over the place. So that's my.
On another subject of eyesores, we allowed on a temporary basis for Concord Academy to put in that gravel parking lot on the south side of Main Street with the huge chain link fence, and it was supposed to, there was a period that we allowed, and it may be COVID's getting to my head, but it seems like that's been up for 5 years. I'm just wondering, do we have somewhere the date of that approval or, the temporary allowance for that? And if it's passed, can we send them, put a bomb under their asses?
That's not for the record, but yeah, I hear you.
That was Nia Glenn, by the way, for the recording.
It spells Neaglenn.
It's after 9 o'clock, so I forgive almost all trespasses. I think we could just follow up Heather with Heather C.
Yeah, I'll write her a note.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, but I did want to thank you all for that meeting last week. It was odd and frankly difficult to do it by Zoom. I think it would have been much better in person, but c'est la vie.
Yeah, Zoom's horrible.
All right,
one thing I would like to add, if I may.
Go ahead.
I conveyed to all of you an analysis of the home prices in Concord, which is a very technical analysis, but that shows that being in a historic district doesn't have any effect in the price of your house or in the resale price of your house or in the value of your house. And if any of you are interested in knowing any of the details of this analysis, please communicate with me directly or through Heather, and I'll be happy to.
There are
explain
more
this.
details? You're saying
yes.
there's more details beyond that?
Well, there's lots of wonderful data and it's all in the eye of the beholder. But of course, I just want to say that it's anything else you would like to know about it, it's available, and I'll be happy to share it with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Amazing work. Great work.
His medical school training came in handy.
Oh, it was a dark and stormy night.
That was a lot of data to analyze.
The lions were restless and the data was hurtling towards me.
Yikes.
Relentlessly.
All right, well, listen, Heather, we are with you, but not literally tomorrow. So good luck. We'll be thinking about you.
Get to sleep, get home, get to bed.
And let somebody know when everything eventually calms down.
I will.
Names and all that good stuff. And good luck. We'll be thinking about you.
Thank you.
But don't worry, it will be memorable and it will be wonderful.
Yes.
And what a great way to go out with an HDC meeting.
It's absolutely.
And how much better to just capstone your current.
I'm surprised that didn't induce her.
Okay, now I have to chime in.
Yes, Jane.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Heather, I hope you ignore all of us, all of Concord for quite a while, while you stare at the face of this new person.
I will try.
Yeah, we're a little too nosy for our own good. All right. Well, Jane, nice to see you, by the way. And thank you all, commissioners. Always good to see you, and see you in a couple of weeks. The 17th.
Ditto.
Heather
Yes.
will not be there, but we'll know something once we all get together. All right. That's it.
Bye.
Motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn the meeting of December 3rd, 2020 of the Historic Districts Commission.
All right, all in favor, just raise your hand and say aye at the same time.
Aye.
Intelligence does.
Thanks.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you all. Heather, see you soon.
Good to see you all. See you soon.
All about together.
Pictures, send us pictures.
But not from the delivery room.